The opinions expressed in this program are not those of CISA 7 or Time Warner Cable.
What's your tomorrow?
I'd like to call the special board meeting to order. We have two motions for this meeting. Well, actually, we have
six motions.
six
for this
motions. All right, sorry.
meeting. It's okay.
All right, so I'd entertain the first motion.
I move that the resignations as presented be approved.
Second.
Any questions? All right, Sandy?
Maloney?
Aye.
Warren?
Aye.
Jeffries?
Aye.
Aye.
Wagner?
Aye.
Carried 5-0. Next motion.
I move that the termination as presented be approved.
Second.
Sandy?
Blacka?
Aye.
Wagner?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Jeffries?
Aye.
Warren?
Aye. Carried 5-0.
I move that the leaves of absence as presented be approved.
Second.
Sandy?
Jeffries?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Wagner?
Aye.
Warren?
Aye.
Blacka?
Aye.
Carried 5-0.
I move that the employment of staff as presented be approved.
Second.
Sandy?
Warren?
Aye.
Blacka?
Aye.
Jeffries?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Wagner?
Aye.
Carried 5-0.
I move that the transfer of staff as presented be approved.
Second.
Sandy?
Wagner?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Warren?
Aye.
Jeffries?
Aye.
Blacka?
Aye.
Carried 5-0.
I move that the retirements as presented be approved.
Second.
Sandy?
Blacka?
Aye.
Warren?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Jeffries?
Aye.
Wagner?
Aye.
Carried 5-0.
That concludes our motions.
All right, thank you. Do we have to move to adjourn? Yeah.
Move to
Okay,
adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn the special board meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All
Wants to
right,
stay.
we will
5
adjourn
minutes.
and restart the work session at 5:30.
All right.
All right, I'd like to call the work session meeting to order. We have 5 board members present, and to my left is Dr. Michelle Langenfeld, our superintendent. We're also joined at the table by multiple members of the superintendent's cabinet, and also Sandy Heller, our board secretary. We have 2 Intercity Student Council members here today, Lo Keen Cheng, who's the president of Intercity Student Council, and he represents Preble. And also from Preble is Maggie Lamal. Did I say that right? So feel free to chime in or ask questions. All right, first we have a public forum, and this is a time for members of the community to speak before the board on any issue that's of concern. I have no papers filled out, but is there anyone who would like to speak before the board tonight? Is that a yes? No? Okay.
Okay.
All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our teaching and learning work session, which will be facilitated by Katie Maloney.
Thank you, Brenda. We have a technology update this evening led by Diane Dorsch.
Thank you. I'm going to, if you don't mind, bring our presentation up on the screen. I would like to begin by saying this is the moment that we've been waiting for. I love coming and talking to you about purchasing computers and the wires and the boxes and those types of things. But really, when it comes down to it, it's about student learning. And we are at that point where I can share some great accomplishments that we have, that our teachers have, that our district has, that our students have. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So we are going to spend this evening talking about and showing you some of the great work that has taken place in our district. I want to relate these things back to our strategic directions, in that we want to provide a dynamic variety of academic and co-curricular programming that provides multiple pathways to success. You're going to see different programs highlighted as we move through this evening. And also, we want to create relevant and ongoing professional development that improves staff knowledge, collaboration. Oh, this is going to be fun if I keep bouncing offline as well. So you get to see me under some, the technology leader, yes, under
That's
some
okay.
technology issues. It does happen. So we will continue on. And so we're going to talk about our professional development as well as we move forward. We'll start with some very short introductions, and as you see, yes, I have some of my people
Yes.
here.
Impressive.
And so we'll talk about some of them, and then how are students using technology in the school district, and then there's time at the end for questions. And I know that the questions may not be directed to me, they may actually be directed to our practitioners out in the audience.
And if sometime, Diane, you could introduce everyone, because we see names on documentation, but we
Sure.
rarely have the opportunity to put the names with the face.
Okay, that's great, and thank you for asking. Yes, I will have each team leader talk about their team then at the end, if you
Great.
would like, for introductions.
Sure.
Thank you.
I would like to point your attention to the front, because this is our Department of Technology. We've got over 40 people in the department. In the past, all people have answered directly to the leader. And so when I came in, it took a year of study, but I have a management structure now that is going to help optimize the talents that we have within our department. You're looking at our 4 supervisors. I call them my SALT, and that is Senior Advisory Leadership Team. We meet once a week, and these folks meet again with other people within our department. And so I just want to be very brief, but we actually do have them in person. Okay, so I'll introduce them. We've got Brian Frederick. He is our network manager. We have Josh Patchak, and he is our programmer and senior programmer. We have Stacy Williams, okay, and you've heard her name before. She
Yes.
is our Infinite Campus database manager, along with other departments like other teams like Central Registration and State Reporting. And then we have Chris Rugdenhill. She is our solutions architect, and she is also supervising our deployment team. Okay, so this has helped me tremendously in the optimization of our department, because these 4 folk know the work of each team member intimately, and I'm very pleased with, just within the short time we did the restructure over the summer, within the short time what we've been able to accomplish. I also want to give a very special shout out to this group. And you see them here in the audience as well. This is our deployment team. And Chris will be introducing them at the end. But these individuals have been responsible for the deployment of all the devices that we've talked about and that we've purchased. Okay, someone has to get them out of the box. Someone has to inventory them. Someone has to ready them for being put out into the schools. Here are the devices that we have purchased, and we have talked together about this. The Chromebook HB14, the Acer Chromebook, the Lenovo laptop, and also the iPad. And they have, by my math calculations, deployed at this point within the last year over 5,000 devices. Okay, that means labels on these things. That means these are jar carts that I'm showing you here. That means preparing the cart with the wiring in the back and putting all the devices numbered sequentially, inventory, asset tagged, all into a cart like this or something similar, and then deployed out to the schools. Okay, so this is a tremendous amount of work, and I wanted to acknowledge that team. And again, you'll get their names at the end, but I want to acknowledge the efforts of this team because they have helped make this possible, as all of our teams have. This is our technology integrator team. We are missing one person, the new guy that you saw crawl under the table. His name is Ben Brazeau, and he joined us last week, or was it the week before? Okay, from a neighboring school district. And so again, as we go through introductions, you'll learn more about them. Also, I'd like to welcome Vicki Santa Croce. She's the one standing in the middle, and she is our library media coordinator through the district. So she is new as well. And again, I will provide some more opportunities for introductions after this. I want to start out, though, by talking about the strategic direction around professional development. Our technology integrators have worked with other departments within the school district to help not only build the capacity of students, but the capacity of our teachers as well, and the capacity of our district office personnel. And so what you see is a screenshot here that was prepared by some of our technology integrators in conjunction with groups like Educator Effectiveness and with groups like Teaching and Learning. And so as these learning objects are created and as content is put together in new and innovative ways, our teachers are viewing these things as they go through Educative Effectiveness or Teaching and Learning, and they're saying, I could do that with my students. And so they're taking what they have seen modeled by our technology integrators, and they're taking it to their classrooms, and they're saying, hey, I want to do what I saw when I was a student in Educator Effectiveness or new teaching and learning concepts. I want to do that with my students. And so as you talk with the integrators at the end, you'll be able to find out perhaps some of the ideas and concepts, and you'll see some this evening, about what the teachers are asking about. And so I would like to give a special shout out to John Spike and Rita Janis for your work on that. And are there any words that you want to share or say about this, you two? You are welcome to come up here. I have 2 chairs. Don't worry, John.
Come on, John. Rita has put the pressure on.
He is a teacher as well.
I just would like to share that we've had a great opportunity to work with Teaching and Learning, with the assessment team, with Educator Effectiveness, to bring forward this website of resources. In just the last week into August, we had a lot of eyes on this particular website, and with Educator Effectiveness, the early release on the 12th, it's something that is being used by a lot of our staff members, and it's just a great way to help build the unity around a subject and also the learning.
And we'd be remiss to not mention Amy Sturks and Mandy Schrader. I don't know if that was coming, but they also helped on the side of assessment with this website, so they helped build capacity with that and help work in the assessments on that side of it too. So just imagine them next to us hypothetically right now.
Thank you.
And just to add, I know that folks were out in the building showing staff during the back-to-school workshop how to access these resources. And having been in several buildings where this was going on, and Rita was just all over the place everywhere I showed, Rita was there, it was awesome. But really you started to see how that would be an effective tool, because it's a just-in-time tool. It's when I need it. They showed me, but I forgot. Now it's just in time. I can go back and review. And I think that's invaluable for busy, busy people. So.
Yes, it's our way of differentiating for our students who are the teachers. Here are some examples of some work that our students have done. Vicki, are you in the audience? Could you please come forward? I'd like you to meet Vicki Santa Croce. Again, she is a library media coordinator, and she was a librarian at a school last year.
So the example you're going to see here is a book trailer done by 5th graders at Sullivan School. What we did is used the iPads and the iMovie app to bring to life the content and meaning of books conveyed through multimedia, which is one of the standards. Kids need to know how to use multimedia to convey messages. And this taught the students a process of how you write and create using multimedia. So it's just one sample of 5th graders using iPads and iMovie.
And it makes me want to read the book.
This is a Common Core standard?
Yes.
Standards? Yes.
Made by Jason. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another example that you've probably heard me talk about is the flipped classroom. I would tell you more about it, but the video tells it all. You will see Amy and Mandy in it, so I'd like to call them forward, please.
Some of the footage in here is from Megan Bukowski's class at Washington Middle School. She has worked, in the previous year, she worked on making her class paperless, and now she's working on flipping her entire classroom. So you'll see some testimonials from her and her students.
And other parts of the video are going to show 6th graders from Franklin Middle School. They flipped, and about 4 months in, it was the end of the school year, and I just videotaped them on what they thought about the learning.
They flipped, all right. This is the longest video clip.
In this video that you're about to watch, you are going to hear from a phenomenal group of 6th grade students at Franklin Middle School who worked alongside their teacher Amanda Couch and the math coach Shauna Rattray. This is a group of students that was not learning very well in the traditional aspect. Amanda had 3 math classes that she was teaching, and this group she realized very quickly was not going as well as it could be going. There
classes because, like she said, we have more fun and I'm smarter with the computer.
Like, you can watch the video at home, and you can watch the video at school, and you can still be learning. You can still get more time.
I think it's kind of cool because like you can watch the videos over and over again until you get it. I agree because some people are, I don't know how to say it, but some people
They don't get the concept the first time.
yeah, and they like need to listen to it again, but some teachers are busy with other students, so they can help you out again. So that's why watching the video over there. I would probably look at the video instead of like asking the teacher. I don't know that what we've learned is inside the environment together. We could watch it as many times as we want. Like one kid might watch it once, and one kid might watch it like 10 times to get it. I think we learn faster now, and we can learn at our own pace. It has helped us by hearing better and seeing what to do. Like when the old-fashioned way, when the teacher would like a chalkboard and teach you stuff, like we sometimes couldn't hear for instructions. To flip learning, and it helped us like to replay what she said and then we can learn to understand because it's natural it's more easier than just learning and just writing everything on paper.
It's fun.
I used to fall asleep in class, but now since I have a video, I can just watch the video and get to work. Since she's not talking stuff, I won't be so sleepy.
I got better grades now because I'm paying more attention now in class. I'm like it's a different person every day that
I think it makes it easier for me, like to learn more, because then I can like get it and I can do work on it. If I like forget how to do something, I can always go back and look at it for you.
Thank you. Thank you for making the videos.
Thank you, Miss Gouge, for helping my learning. I want to do this next year again, continue, because it really helped us understand that. And instead of doing like the boring stuff of writing papers and stuff, we just use the technology and watch videos every night, 5 minutes stuff, 30 minutes. Writing, because it's kind of boring. As a math coach at Franklin Middle School, I
What did you like about using the technology in your classroom?
We couldn't use notebooks. You didn't have to write down notes, we got to type them instead, which is a lot easier and faster.
Okay, so it was a paperless classroom? Okay, cool. How do you think your learning was enhanced? Do you think it helped you learn more by using the technology in your classroom? How do you think that helped?
Yeah, well, it helped because the internet was right there, and we could just search instead of looking through encyclopedias and the dictionary and all that stuff.
Okay, so you kind of got to problem solve on your own. Cool, thank you.
Thank you for putting those together.
Thank you. Just a quick technological question. Why are the background graphics on the Franklin piece reversed? Like the logo on your shirt was backwards and the background, the signs in the library were backwards?
It's flipped. It's flipped.
There is a way to flip it back. Yeah.
There is a way to flip it.
Yes.
One of you bazillion people out there could figure out.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that intentional? No.
Was that intentional?
It was not intentional. I used my Mac, and the camera facing back just reads things backwards.
Okay.
I wasn't
okay.
videotaping like this. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was just kind of curious.
Good catch, Phil. Good catch.
Yes. Okay. But otherwise, very, very informative. Thank you.
Yes, we thought teacher testimony would be most helpful to you. We want to provide just some short other examples. We're going to show you a couple things here, as well as move on to our integration with special ed, where I have some videos. But these are additional examples that our technology integrators help teachers do. So Andrea Knutson, could you come forward, please? Thank you. I'm going to put that over. If you could talk all about money.
We like money. With the implementation.
Alan, listen up. That's right.
With the implementation of the Chromebooks last year and everybody getting all googly, we went down to some of the real primary grades, and this was a second grade classroom that was studying money as part of their social studies. So we initiated the Google. We started off by having them go on Google Drive and learning about Google, and then we moved on to Google presentations. And this was a presentation where we had set up what they had to accomplish and the elements that were important, and we taught them how to do the Google presentation, and then each student had their own slide, and then we continued to just, they had to ask a question and then find the information using Pebblebo, which was a site that primary students, elementary students use, add some graphics, and then at the end, they were all attached together as one presentation. And so the skills that they learned that were initially in that first slide not only helped them with the expectation of what to do, but some of the skills that they learned with changing fonts and highlighting and things like that will also benefit them as we do online assessments such as Smarter Balance and those types of skills. So very exciting for those kids, and I think pretty darn good for second graders.
And how old is second
graders.
How old?
How old?
8 years old.
8 years old, 7, 8.
Credit cards by Ian.
Wow. Good luck for Ian's parents.
That's right. Thank you very much.
Credit by Gus.
Yeah. John, I'm going to have you talk about Minecraft. If you could come forward. We also have poetry, and we can make that available to you at a later time.
I'm not qualified to talk about calculus and rap, so I will leave that to someone else. Just as a kind of precursor to this. As a precursor to this, we rolled out an initiative to kind of test run Minecraft EDU in our district over the summer. So I got the chance to co-teach a Minecraft course with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at Lombardi Middle School. And my hope is to continue to grow our use of Minecraft in education, in both using it in STEM learning, and also just in different classes, because it is a sandbox where students can create and build worlds that they can only envision or try to draw on a two-dimensional plane before. And this is a young lady named Emma, and she took my offer for green screening herself into her Minecraft creation. And it is the Washington Monument, but with a twist. It's the Washington Monument in the Armageddon. So that's a little bit out there, but this was her final build project. So I'll let Emma talk a little bit about how she built it. And she's explaining this all while watching herself walk through it on another screen. So it had to be so tough. I don't know how she did it, but she did.
You know, like a weather person does.
Right, they've got that blue screen behind them and they're just kind of pointing.
So for time's sake, and again, we can make these available to you after this, but we'll show about a minute of this.
Washington Monument sort of thing. They're from Fallout 3, and in Fallout 3, the Capitol Wasteland, the Washington Monument has been through radiation. It's falling apart. It's like everybody's 150 years old, so or more than that, and it's falling apart. Everything is all rusty. Everything's falling apart. And as I go up to the roof, I had some trouble building it, but it was pretty dang good. And the windows, there's wood there. That's because I don't want to say it. There was an explosion nearby, and it took part of the roof with it. So that's what happened. Just patch that up with soul sand, that's what I use. And luckily I had a potion of magician to use, so I used that. And in the chest, which is down there, I added everything into it. I added it to the ground.
She's got a potion so she can see.
Now the chest. And also you could, while we're kind of like the map and everything, you put all your armor and everything. So the chest is just made with pinwood. Compass is your map. You got 2 swords, or 3 swords, a wooden stone and an iron sword. Then you have leather, and then you have some food.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. You can tell she's pretty passionate about this.
She's like every first-time weather person I've ever seen.
Left is right.
It's great. It's like,
Yes. Okay, thank you, John, for sharing that.
it's pretty dang good. She does say something. Yes.
Okay, and then I wanted, is Tom here?
Yes.
Okay, hey, come on over, Tom. Tom is a math teacher, or a former math teacher. He is now a technology integrator. And he created a GeoGebra overview, but I'll let you tell briefly about it because we're not going to play 10 minutes of it.
I don't blame you. GeoGebra is a math program that I started using several years ago, and it's there's a lot of impressive creativity that you just saw, and I'm sorry to say this is just math, so it's not the most creative. But it is something that a lot of math teachers use for both demonstration purposes to teach with. But over the last several years, I've started getting kids involved, and it's almost like a flipped classroom in that I don't do much instruction the first day. I give them some simple directions and let them loose in the program, and they construct things and measure things and hopefully notice relationships and constants and patterns. And then the following day is when I do my instruction. Do you have a...
Sure. I'll play a bit of it.
My name is
until you
Tom
get to
King.
the lesson.
I taught math at East for 20 years.
Maybe skip forward.
Becoming a technology integrator.
Okay, I'm going to move ahead to one of his lessons. There's a standard.
There are a lot of math practice standards that involve technology in Common Core. The content standards.
In this lesson, students were instructed to create several different types of triangles and classify and explain why they classified the triangles in a certain way. Right triangles, isosceles triangles, equilateral triangles, equiangular triangles, several different kinds. This particular project, the student constructed a triangle, measured it, sides. And it might be hard to see, but over here is their explanation of what it is and why it is that kind of triangle. Classifying triangles is one of the lessons we do earlier on in geometry. And again, the document that accompanied this, the student had to explain it in a little more detail.
Thank you, Tom. Again, we have more that we can share with you. We can share this link so that you can find out more about how GeoGebra is used as we support the Common Core state standards. Let's move on to, since we're talking math, got to share with you the calculus wrap. Tom also shared with me a website that was created by math teacher at East, Brandon Quinn. His students had created something a couple years ago that they're now using as an example, but I just saw it and thought, well, this is way too cool not to share with you. Again, we have technology in our schools that can help students create stuff at this level. We won't watch all 6 minutes of calculus, but I sure would like you to see the beginning part. Mind you, these are high schoolers.
Didn't count about 2012. It's the quiz class. I'm first on the mic. We got DDDJDX. Then we got my boy, MC Free Response. It's Larry. Walk into the room, BJ Quinn at his desk. I see the chairs spaced apart. Man, do we got a test? I find a buddy in class and I ask what it's on. He says, what did you do? Just sleep all week long? I say, yeah, I did. So just teach it to me. He told me it's the derivative. Don't worry, it's easy. All it is, basically, is the slope of a curve. Changing y over x is what you gotta observe. The slope of a line is real easy to do. Y equals mx plus b. Compute, and then you're through. Now equations are changing. Polynomials and radicals, you need a new tool for the slope. That's only rational, and this is the point where the derivative comes in. It's bigger and better, just like Cowboy Quinn. Find 2 points on the curve and connect the dots. That's the average rate of change between those two spots. That line you just made, yeah, we call it the secant. We don't use it much, cause it's not very accurate. So move the points closer till they're one and the same. Now it's the tangent line, the instant rate of change. Now take a look at a line perpendicular to that. You'll see the normal line.
Okay, well, hopefully you got a little bit of calculus out of that. And you can imagine what it took to create this. They show some bloopers at the end, and of course they had to pre-record this and then, do the lip syncing to go with it, put all the words in. This was probably a semester-long project in itself. But you can see what the creativity does, allowing students to have choice to create something. And oh my goodness, this kid, it was made in 2012, probably still remembers the rap and uses it when he's at college. Who knows? I would like to move on then to special education. This group is, in my opinion, probably one of the places where you can find the largest bang for the buck. Would you say, Claudia? Yes. Claudia and I have worked together in saying, hey, let's do some of these things. And you've heard her talk about the unique program. You're going to get a little taste of that here and see some things. So I'd like to share. I went out and visited 2 teachers and took some footage and did some editing over the weekend. So that you can see things in action. So our first stop is at Jefferson Elementary.
Hi, my name is Ashley Cantelberg. I am a special ed teacher here at Jefferson Elementary School, and I work with the CE program. I have 4 students right now, and we are integrating technology into the system. And the way we integrate technology is through the smartboard usage and the iPads. I prefer to use the smartboard because it gives all of my students a way to smartboard. We do the lesson first on the smartboard, and then we do the lesson all together with the paper copies. Using the smartboard allows all students to have access and show their knowledge, whereas the paper copies do not. Students are able to use the iPads also, which allow them to freely access the curriculum. And so I greatly like using the smartboard and the iPads for all students to be able to access all the curriculum. The unique curriculum, I believe the Green Bay Area Public Schools adopted that last year, and it allows the teachers to see which level their students are and provide all the curriculum to all of their levels. So some of the students are on level 1, some of the students are on level 2, and some of the students are on level 3. So each student has a different level according to their ability, and it's differentiated so that all students have access to their level. I feel like my students have a better positive thinking style. They don't get down right away, they don't get frustrated really easy because it's at their level.
This happened before. When we were rehearsing.
And it's so adaptable that the students do not get frustrated, and they love working with the technology, with the curriculum. It gives them a boost of confidence that they can do it and access it in different ways.
Are they more engaged than they have been in the past?
They are very engaged. They love going up on the smartboard and using the iPads during the curriculum while being taught it. They love it, and they love that when they go into the regular ed classroom, that it's the same stuff they're learning in our classroom. It's aligned together. So if they're learning about presidents in first grade, then they'll be learning about some type of history of presidents, government in our classroom. So it's quite aligned. My students just love it, and it allows all students to have access to the curriculum. And some of my students cannot use the paper copies or cut or glue, or because most of the paper copies are hands-on. So having the smartboard and the iPad allows them to do it a different way, but still getting the curriculum.
She talked about the smartboard. That's actually a satellite system. So it's a large television. It uses smartboard technologies and notebook software, it's called. So we want to clear that up.
Yeah, it's an interactive whiteboard. So.
My next stop was at Dan's. And so this teacher will tell you about a program called Pro Liquo to Go.
And I've used technology for one of my students. I think he is a student who had a lot of trouble communicating prior to going to school and then also in school. I started working with him when he was
So in conclusion, we've shown some examples to you of how we're using technology to help meet our strategic directions, providing professional learning for our staff that is meaningful and helpful to them as they bring these technology integrated techniques to their classroom, as well as helping all our students be successful. In the board report that I created for you, I also talked about our future goals, and we will continue to implement our technology integration team and learning. We're changing a bit in that we're changing our packaging. We are working closely with library media specialists as well, and really with building goals and the data teams and saying, hey, what are some deficits in your school regarding learning? And then how can we, as technology integrators, library media specialists, help your teachers and students get to those goals that you have? And so the structure that's rolling out with the professional learning communities and the way that our library media specialists and technology integrators are working together can really help provide strategies to our teachers that they can add to their toolbox to help their students be successful. We also have testing coming up, and you'll hear more about that as we roll out Aspire and Smarter Balanced. You can see that we're working on building that basis for our students to have experiences with technology before the testing begins. And so our goals for the future are to be inventorying our technology to find out where we need to create our replacements and create a replacement cycle, so it's going to become more easy to plan regarding finances and learning. Empower our staff with mobile teaching devices. You've heard me talk about that, so we want to devise a plan that is going to be well thought out as we move forward. And then we want to build a technology competency continuum framework. In other words, help everybody within our district see where they are on a continuum of technology skills so that we can help them see where they want to be and help them get there. At this time, I would like to, as you had requested, introduce the wonderful team of people sitting behind me. None of this could be possible without their work, because as I sit before you and talk to you and tell you about all these things, okay, these are the people who make these things come true. And so I'm going to start with Chris Rugden-Hill and our deployment team, because we highlighted them early on. Sure.
So most of you, possibly all, remember when we were strictly a PC district? And, under Diane's leadership and the leadership of others at the table, we've been able to incorporate a variety of devices in our schools. So we have a variety of Apple devices and also our current PC environment. And to make that work, it's more than just we have these devices. There's different ways in which we get the software, knowing which software belongs to which course, and then also the software that we use to manage which applications are on which device. So it takes quite a knowledge and skill set. So I'd like to introduce the deployment team that has been working diligently to get devices into the hands of our staff and students. Ricky Breitons, Tad Delro, Vadim Zolotov, Peter, and then we have Efren in the back. So they've been working tirelessly to get devices into the hands of our staff and students, and we're very proud of the work that they do.
5,022 devices. Thank you for your efforts. We also have a large number of our technology integrators, so I want to share their names with you as well. So we're going to start here with our new guy. This is Ben Brazeau. And then we have Rita Janis. And we have Amy Sturks. Starts with an A and has an S. And then we have Mandy. Then we have Andrea and Sandy. Okay, and we have John in the back, and Tom, and Lisa. And she's over here controlling our ball. You have met Vicky Santa Croce, and you have also met the SALT team, but I'm appreciative of this team. Remember, we also have central registration, state testing, state reporting under us, under Stacy, and this is Stacy, and are there any other ones? Help desk as well, under the SBCs. And then Brian, we have network managers under him, as well as our technicians. Okay, and under Josh, we have our programmers. Okay, so have I included everybody? Okay.
Good job, everybody.
I would like to open the floor for questions. I realize they may not be directed at me. They might be also going to our people.
And that's why we appreciate your being here, because it really is helpful. Board members, questions? Chris?
And I don't know whether it's a question for Diane or for Kim to answer now or later in some way. With everything that's being done with technology for students, to help students grow, is there a system built in on how to evaluate that it is truly doing something, not just being a novelty?
The evaluation part is something that we are still looking at. I've been working with Stephen Miller at the regarding this as well. And we've talked about this for teachers and students, being able to evaluate. There are products out there that allow us to do that. And so it really comes down to, what do we want to know, and what are we going to do because we have that information. What is our plan for boosting our student competencies up? So yes, I would call that in our future goals.
Any other questions?
I just have a comment.
All right.
I think when, first of all, I kudos to you, Diane, and your team. I recall the conversation when we talked about having technology people dispersed and deployed into schools to help build capacity among staff. And just witnessing even some of the exemplars that you showed today really shows we've come a long way in very short order. And I think that people are willing to really recognize that the use of technology, we are in the 21st century, and that we would be really behind if we didn't have these opportunities for our students. For those that are, technology natives, they're in a very different place. And so to have someone in a building to support those of us who may not be technology natives, I think is very important. I think the other piece that happens is that whole recognition as students move forward. Some of the data that we could capture organizationally may be difficult because the child today has this device, and so the opportunity when you think about being able to measure, we can tell you what happens when a student doesn't have choice. We can tell you what happens when a student, and that's what we saw in the video. Kids are disengaged. The child today is you can see 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds on devices, and they're used to these kinds of opportunities. So to get those into the hands of children at a very young age, we may not be able to tell exactly what would have happened if they didn't have it, but we will be able to tell a lot of trajectory in terms of growth of students. And we will be able to tell, and can already tell from an organizational data collection piece, of how just even you did the piece a year ago of where people were at in their technology use in your survey to staff, and to go back now, and I think you get a very different response in terms of capacity already in just 1 year.
I would agree with that. And even when I look at myself, when we first started bringing computers into our home, and my husband and children would routinely just explain to me when I'd ask a question, they'd simply tell me it's magic. And I would believe them because that was easiest for me. But I think it's very important that when you think of who our students are, they don't all have access to devices like this. They don't all have access to iPads and home computers, and I think we owe it to them to provide that access, to provide that exposure. And I do look forward to the time when we have documentation that says, this is critical for our students' education. Any other questions, comments? Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And again, really appreciate the department showing up.
Yes, thank you.
And that actually concludes our portion of the work session. You don't? Oh, sure, I see they're just leaving. That's and feel free to do that.
All right, thanks again for coming. Next, we will move to our organizational support work session. That will be facilitated by Andrew Becker.
Okay, thank you. Under business and finance, we have two scheduling items, the budget meetings and the board superintendent retreat. Are there a range of dates we have to work with? Are there suggested dates already?
In the update to the board, I had a schedule of budget meetings that are very similar to what they have been in the past year. The budget approval on October 6th, which would be at 5:15 p.m., and the regular board meeting would then start at 6:30 p.m. The public engagement session on October 13th at 6 p.m., and the public hearing and adoption on October 27th at 5:30 p.m. And again, those were the dates that were in the board letter that you received. And again, the dates are similar to what they were last year's budget.
All right. Does that work for board members?
Guess we'll have to make it work.
Okay. So those will be the dates for the budget meetings. And then board superintendent retreat.
That, we had scheduled prior to adding the budget meeting. I guess the question is the board retreat was scheduled for 5:15. And so. On the 13th, right. And you were, sorry, Ellen, I didn't have the time written down on the 13th, your engagement session? 6?
At 6 p.m. was the
6.
public engagement.
Okay. So we could start the retreat at 5:15 and then come back out, and then come into the budget public engagement session, and then finish our retreat after that. The other option would be to start the meeting at 4 with the idea that we would do the retreat meeting at 4 with the idea we would be done by 6 when the budget meeting started. So I don't know what works. What's your preference with that?
Probably do 5:15.
Split it?
I could do 5. If 4 is much better for others, I could
Okay.
handle it.
Yeah, well, I know Mary's not here today, but I know 4 is difficult for her too.
Right, 4 usually
So
does.
if everybody's okay with splitting it like that, that's how we were gonna move
That's fine.
forward.
I mean, I
Okay,
could do that.
all right. Then we will plan on that, on the 13th.
Okay, and those were the only 2 items for business and finance, and then under HR, we have the staffing update.
We have 6 open classroom positions that are being covered right now. 2 are in FACE, and we have a emeritus teacher working one of those, and we have overloads at Southwest right now. The jobs continue to be posted. We have one in art in Washington, and she's screening candidates. We have 2 in special ed. They came up last week as a result of 2 people that had accepted, and then those fell through. So we are looking for 2 special ed positions. We have 1 ESL as a result of our increased Somali population at Easton, Washington. And those are the positions we have. We have 3 school psych positions still open. And those are, as you are aware, very difficult to fill. And then we have a speech and language pathologist, a person who works with the assistive communication with students. And I personally made 2 offers and have not been able to come together with the candidates on a mutually acceptable offer. So I think, Claudia, you're looking at alternative ways to cover that need. And those are the openings we have. We have a library media specialist at Howland Lincoln is still open, and we're covering that right now. LTE. Library media has become a real difficult to fill position, and Hades Center Kochi has worked with us to do some very creative things by thinking of people who she knows or might be able to do the work, and so we filled everything but this particular position. So I look back at this time last year, and we're about in the same position as we were. It's about the same number of openings, but we have everything covered, not in the most ideal way, but the positions are filled right now. In terms of hiring, we hired 141 new educators. Those are people in the educator bargaining unit, and then we hired 22 LTEs to cover positions. The LTEs are hired to cover leave of absences.
Okay, questions? Okay, thank you. And those were the only 2, unless there's one added since the printing.
No?
So that concludes the report.
All right, thank you, Andrew. We do have a closed session tonight, so I will read that motion. Closed session has been scheduled for Monday, September 8th, immediately following the adjournment of the work session meetings at the district office building. Pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, to wit, potential litigation matters. Pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851F, considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data of specific persons, preliminary consideration of specific personnel problems, or the investigation of charges against specific persons, except where paragraph B applies, which, if discussed in public, would be likely to have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data, or involved in such problems or investigations, to wit, personnel matters. Pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, more specifically to wit, negotiation of collective bargaining agreements. Pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, to wit, employee compensation. The meeting will begin in open session to consider the appropriate motion for a closed session so provided by law.
So moved.
Second.
Sandy?
Jeffries?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Warren?
Aye.
Blackout?
Aye.
Whitehair?
Aye.
Becker?
Aye.
Carried 6-0. We'll move across the hall.
What's your tomorrow?
For more information or to obtain copies of this program, contact CESA 7 Interactive Learning Services at 920-465-5218.